a bomb. Attackers have dropped the bomb. Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser. 5 seconds to go. left the designated staging area. Defender exposed. Attackers are activating the diffuser. A bomb has been located.
And I guess this would be just as good a time as any to fire up the camera. So hello everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome on the stream. This is going to be a pretty good night. So we're going to have two games planned up tonight. First of all, we're going to be seeing Hostile Actions go on or go off against Arson Esports, which of course is going to be looking to be a great game. Arson Esports, if I was to take a look at them as a team, by the way, there's already 5 of them in the match lobby, so this should be starting pretty quickly. They have unfortunately lost all of their games, so they would be ranked basically at the bottom of the leaderboard. Let me just take a look at it real quick to make sure of, like, you know, how well they're standing compared to the others. Yeah, they're at the bottom, just above them. We still have a few games or a few teams that are tied, either with 2 losses, a loss, no win, and all that good stuff. But thing is, they have theoretically won one of their game, but they were unable to provide any MOS files, which made it so that I had to give them a defeat because anti-cheating measures. So even though I personally do not believe they would have been cheating, the rules still are the rules still apply, and that would put them at the bottom of the leaderboard. So they would have basically earned a victory, but it just so happens that I couldn't grant it to them. That was item number 1. Item number 2 is basically, you could argue also that they played against basically the best teams in the competition so far. They had fierce matches, really good opponents for their first games. So this is also a factor as to why they might be considered at the bottom of the leaderboard. However, they are going up against Hostile Actions, who themselves are, as of yet, undefeated. This is going to be their 3rd game for Hostile Action. Arson Esports is going to be their 4th. And all in all, like I said, I do expect this to be one of the nicer matches of the competition. Not just because the teams are, you know, the teams have a good skill level, but also because this game seems to be high stakes for Arson Esports. I expect them to be trying extra hard tonight, because if they were to be 0-4, they would now have a pretty huge delay, or they'd have, I don't want to say delay, but they would have a major setback at this point. That wouldn't be exactly easy to come back of, you know? So this would be the setting for the first game of tonight. It's also going to be played on Clubhouse. The players have had their map ban made prior to the beginning of the stream, so I couldn't stream this for you, but there you go. That's just the way things are. Players were, I want to say, resourceful, and they made things easier for us, so I'm not complaining at all. But still, we couldn't have this on stream. Just as I say this, the 10 players are in here. So a little checkup. Are you guys ready? And are you running MOS before we start the game?
Yes.
Non, il y en a un qui fait une grosse merde.
Okay, so we'll be waiting until we have Hostile Actions' approval before we start. Sarah's saying Hostile Actions. Oh shoot! Wait, what? Oh yeah, je vois ça, Sariz. Esports. Merci, Sariz. And there we go. That should be fixed. Game number 2. By the way, there's also going to be a game between Dead Astronauts against Mishmash Gaming going on right now. They will not be casted because, of course, I'm casting that other game right here. However, they asked for an observer. They asked for a spectator. So
I'm ready.
Awesome. So everybody's ready. Looks like it. So good luck. Have fun. And unlike last time, this is really a central server that time. So good luck, have fun, and may the best team win.
Thanks, Hans. I appreciate
Hans,
that.
if we're on the wrong server, this rehost is against you.
I made sure to be on central this time. I made sure to be on central. I done goofed up last time. and the players didn't like that too much. I totally get why. But yeah, I will bear the weight of my own failures. So we are going to be finding ourselves in the operator ban phase, and Clubhouse as a map is going to be really, really predictable or known at this point. I mean, it is one of the only maps alongside of at this point, consulate of the launch maps, which are still in the map ban rotation, or in the competitive map pool, I want to say. So this map, even though it has had a buff in the past, is an old one. Basically, every strategy that has to exist on that map has been figured out at this point. I mean, maybe in the future we'll be able to see some new twist or some new innovation coming up. I mean, for example, yes. For example, the SSG basement strat has been figured out, what, 4 years into the lifespan of the game, or the lifespan of the map. So that's, you know, something interesting. Yana Eric's allowed? Yes. However, just like I was saying, we know this map, you know, ins and outs. So Maverick, Thatcher, Mira, Echo being already banned. I would expect to see a Maverick being taken out of the picture. Maybe a Clash. Motzi is going to get the ban hammer after all, so that will be surprising to some extent. Is it a target ban? I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you if this is a target ban, to be honest. These players, they might start to know each other a little bit. By the way, this is week number 2. Let me just update the overlay real quick. Thank you very much. But all in all, this is going to be the setup for before the beginning of the game. Our first defense is going to go CCTV and Cash, without any surprises, right? And we're going to be seeing, oh, Pats. Pats is going to be playing Montaigne. So he did not want this to be known for Arson Esports. I was fumbling there. They didn't want Arson Esports to know that the Montaigne was coming, so this is why they camouflaged him with a 6-pick. But at the end of the day, the surprise will probably be short-lived. I mean, as soon as they spawn in, it should be figured out pretty quickly. But until then, let's see how Arson Esports are going to set up, or are going to set themselves up for this very first round. We are going to be seeing, of course, you know, the same walls as ever be reinforced. My question is going to be regarding the garage. Apparently, Viz will be reinforcing it. But what about Blue or Depp or any other player? Are they going to reinforce the second wall, or I guess it would be a door, if you were to look at it? How a garage, you know, those doors that go up. But hey, within the game, they're gonna be walls. It will not be reinforced after all. Okay, so for some reason, it looks like Arson, they're not too keen on holding garage itself, which is gonna be an oddity to say the least. Nothing too major. Oh gosh, I have indicated that Melusi was banned in the overlay, which is not the case. Devil's already opening up with the Hibana X Kairos. It is not going to be necessary to use, you know, any other utility to open up the soft wall. Maybe Limbo will do that. But in the meantime, Pats here has been taken a Gumine to the foot, so he will, his position is likely to be known, or, you know, they're going to know that he plans on advancing from there. And this is going to be flash after flash after flash to disable every piece of utility. Their grenade is not going to get too much done. It will put Donovic back, and he is no longer going to be, oh, their grenade though. Their grenade is gonna get the first kill. It was also enable Mira to open up the reinforced wall, leaving us with Viz, who will likely be the next line of defense, though he has to juggle between Thermite, who visibly wants to come in through that opening, and of course there's gonna be a Montaigne at the first floor down there. So Viz is kind of stuck here between a rock and a hard place. What can he do? If he looks the wrong way, he will likely get murked from the other side. Wyatt Killer was roaming. I have thought he was going to help Viz on the garage area. It does not appear to be the case. He just ran back up the main stairs, or the red stairs rather, leaving us with Viz. Once again, just being outnumbered badly. has Montaigne a Guman in his foot? Yeah, he does. So that is going to make it so that they have to get the kill on Viz pretty quickly, and Devils is going to do just that. Mera was able to insert at the very same time, but you still have Blue right here with a Nitro Cell still in his inventory. Is he going to toss it out? He is. It is unlikely to get any kills. So now that this utility has been expanded, what can you do else? You have to push in, but there is a Montaigne. There's a shield blocking your way, and it's going to be your, your double kill coming off of GD, who is basically going to get the flawless round for hostile actions. This is a brutal first round for your defenders, who basically had to learn the hard way how hostiles tend to push in a bomb site. So with any luck, their upcoming defense will be a bit, you know, better prepared or more aware of what's to come. But until then, that was a first round, and a solid first round one for hostile action. Actually, this was a flawless round one for hostile action, so nothing too shabby here. The advantage of surprise might be a factor, but it would not usually account for basically a perfect round. So all in all, what can I say except good job? Nicely done, and let's hope to see more of that in the future, especially if you are rooting for hostile actions here.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
So yeah, I made one tiny mistake in the overlay. Let me just get back on that ban, and it is not Malusi, but Motzi. That's been banned. And there you go. Okay, so back on round number 2. We're going to be defending CCTV area once again. Let's see what gives this time. The composition in and of itself is going to evolve, but only the tiniest amount. Blue is going to be playing Doc instead of playing Cade. By the way, if I was to allow myself a little critique, I didn't see Cade toss out any Electro Claws last round. Maybe I just didn't spot them, but I don't believe he was playing utility too hard. He probably tossed them out without me realizing, but at the end of the day, it looks like they're going to be using Blue's fragging capabilities to its fullest, which is why Doc has been picked. However, we are also going to be seeing Y-Killer here in the garage area. Once again, the wall on the right side not being reinforced is going to be a bit of a, I want to say, weakness, because Y could easily get flanked or, you know, wallbanged from that angle. As long as his position is not known, though, it is unlikely to happen, but Pats is kind of working on making sure he doesn't fall into a trap or doesn't get spotted by a nasty surprise. And it does look, however, like he's tossing the drone to drone GD out, so he's not too likely to figure out that Y-Killer's right there, making him basically a prime roaming, say, candidate. Because if your Zofia was to be looking at the ceiling at the wrong time, Y would have basically a free kill, and he seems to know that he is positioning himself perfectly to take advantage of that situation. The drone is likely to spot it out, though, so GD will now know he's there, and he comes out of the drone just as soon as the danger has been spotted. So far, things are looking way better than last round, right? First of all, hostile actions, they're going to lose their first player. Limbo, utility-wise, nothing is too big, but still, 45 situation for their advantage. And on the other side, they're not falling like flies, unlike last round, right? Dying like flies would be a French expression which I just translated word for word. But, you know, they're not just being pushed over and dying immediately. Donovic is expecting a push from the other side, which is not going to happen, so he would indicate that the team is somewhat short on intel or working off of false intel, which in and of itself is not too major currently, but could indicate that the team is ill-prepared to withstand an assault. Mira did the same thing as last round. He opened up the reinforced wall. Now he's looking into garage. So he will be in contempt on putting pressure onto Blue, which is going to work out. Doc, apparently drop-shotting, is going to pay the price for that. Now we're basically ready to funnel into OBJ. You still have Viz over here, but he's not holding the angle for the time being. So you could technically just rush in, though he is not in a position to deny any entry into the CCTV area from the eastern side. But there was a rotation hole in the wall right there, which is going to allow Pats to funnel in unnoticed. The flashbang is likely to have, you know, done a bit of damage to the defender's eyeballs. That Nitro Cell is not going to do too much. Mera now has the diffuser down, and Viz from the other side is too late to deny the plant of the diffuser. Montaigne is going to be a big problem, and Doc also gets a kill. What can you do next? Viz has to come back. He's going to be looking at the catwalk right there, but Mera seems to be expecting him, and he stops aiming at the wrong time. The timing is going to be extremely unfortunate here, allowing Mera to win yet another round for his team. And all in all, even though Arson Esports were way better off round number 2 than on the first round, at the end of the day, they still ended up losing, which basically is all that matters. Doesn't matter how or why you won your rounds, as long as you win them, this is what's going to win you the map, right? So at this point, I wouldn't be too surprised if I was to see Arson Esports decide to defend the basement area. And you're not saying this because of the replays, but trust me, the next defense is going to be played in Church and Arsenal Room. And that is for sure going to switch things up. But, and I always do say this, it seems like every single game of Rainbow Six Siege does bear a few common, say, properties between each other. Well, Arson Esports, even though they lost, they had a way better shot at winning on round number 2 than they did on round number 1. So they could theoretically just keep on improving their strategy, you know, by increments, round after round after round, till eventually they win one. It would imply that they lose a few rounds in the process, but you could see how they were already way better off than for the first time. However, they decided to just throw everything out the window and to try anew, or to reset everything and go in the basement area, right? So it's kind of a coin toss, or, you know, a roll of the dice, because you cannot guarantee that the basement is going to be better to, or more favorable to you. You can simply know that whatever you were doing upstairs didn't work out, so you have to try something new. But it could also happen that that defense is going to be even worse than what they were able to provide on the top floor. One thing's for sure, they have adapted their strategies or their composition. We're going to be seeing a Goyo making an appearance. We're no longer going to be seeing either a Cade or a Doc, right? So Blue seems to be rotating operators quite a lot. Dat Boy is also going to be playing Smoke, but other than that, I don't know with the Pulse also. So Weikel and Viz are still sticking to the same ops, but that's about it. So I just wanted to underline the fact that Arson Esports, they're not shy about switching things up if, you know, the current situation doesn't work out too well, which in and of itself is basically a good indication that they're aware of what works, what doesn't, and they're not afraid to basically try new things. And Montang, by making so much noise, is likely to get spotted out pretty quickly. Of course, right, Viz is here, Donovic is probably feeding intel. He would have the Nitro Cell, but it is unlikely to get the kill, because Montang is basically blocking the way, so the Nitro Cell would just rebound off of the shield. However, that Nitro Cell could get a few kills off. It does not, unfortunately. Mira will be lit, but the hatch is going to blow open. So, Arson Esports so far are not looking too good. GD is going to get the first kill. Montaigne is pushing in, utility-wise, or, you know, on a technicality. The attackers are also, you know, attacking the defensive setup. All in all, this is looking pretty good for hostile actions once again. Pat's right here, even though he's not crazy aggressive, he's feeding incel, and that is going to be invaluable. You can already see Donovic is basically the last one holding the armory area. Those two guys are, you know, one above each other. They're holding the same angle, which is going to leave, you know, an opening. And as such, Mira is currently planting the diffuser. Blue is going to fall to fire right here, leaving us with Dat Boy, last player alive. What can he do? Diffuser now planted. His position is not known. So that's good news, but that was just about the only piece of good news I could find. Hostile actions, thanks to Devils, once again winning a flawless round. That's huge. It's at this point, Arson Esports, they might be sweating a little bit, right? It's still only 0-3, nothing too dramatic, nothing that they could not come back of. But the problem is, I don't see them winning a round anytime soon, assuming the current back and forth, or basically their current one-sided game, keeps on happening. And I have seen no indication whatsoever that hostile actions are gonna, you know, turn off the heat, or that they're gonna take things a bit slower, a bit easier going forward. So, yeah. Basically, Arson Esports will have to innovate and bring something new to the table pretty quickly. Failing that, they are basically guaranteed a harsh defeat, should, you know, the current trend stay true. So the good news is, after having lost everywhere, you can go anywhere. So they're gonna go Church again. And yet again, they're going to try to mix things up a little bit. This time, we're going to be bringing a Valkyrie. So your intel-based operator, instead of being a Pulse, will be Valk. It has its advantages, its disadvantages as well. But the idea being, with a ping, you can be a bit more precise when you toss in the Natural Cell. which would be the goal here, I would assume, because should you be in a position to get the kill on, say, Thermite or Hibana when they're breaching the hatch, that kill, you know, taking hard breaching or, hard breaching off the table for the attackers, that would be huge.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse
On another note,
drop the bomb diffuser.
Wildkiller will be your resident roamer, and he seems to be a bit more aggressive on the roam game compared to last time. Will he be receiving pressure immediately? It doesn't seem like it, so the attackers only open it up from afar. JD might be tossing a drone, and yeah, he'll do just that. Thing is, Wildkiller is in a good position to not be spotted up with the drone, right? You are up, but he is not cloaked, unfortunately, and his position is likely to be known. Was there? It was just a drone for Pats. I thought he himself was in stocks, so he could have been in a good position to, you know, receive Wildkiller, but that is just not going to happen. However, he is likely to find himself... Oh no, that's going to be a distraction, which is going to end up being fatal. Wildkiller, unfortunately, being, you know, hunted down quite effectively by hostile actions. And that was just about the only roamer you had. Donovic has already used up the Nitro Cell with no results whatsoever to be reported. I mean, Mura would probably have been the intended victim here. Unfortunately, that did not connect, and therefore hard breaching is still very much on the table. Actually, both Devils and Mura are up. So, well, what can they breach? Answer is basically everything and anything. A Cade would be very useful here. Unfortunately, I don't see Arson Esports picking him, because that would be a good idea, I want to say, right? Especially since Thatcher has been banned. The only real way for Arson Esports to, or for hostile action basically to open up a reinforced hatch, should it be defended by a Cade, would either to bring Maverick, which he himself has also been banned, or to toss in a Twitch drone, and Twitch is not too likely to be picked either, right? Leaving us with Dapoy doing a 1v5 situation. He's not going to do too much, and hostile action are going to win their third flawless round. That is huge. They're winning by a landslide. I mean, 7-0 games. We've seen a few of them, right? They're not exactly common, but they're not, you know, unheard of occurrence either. The thing is, even for a 7-0, 3 flawless rounds before even the role swap happens, that is basically unheard of. That is huge, and that is bound to be putting a heavy pressure on Arson's morale. And we all know how important morale is, right? Shouldn't the morale falter? At this point, you could expect the performances to drop across the board if you're no longer motivated, if you don't even think it is worth defending, because, you know, it is a subconscious thing. But if you realize that you're losing, whether you try hard or not, at some point you just start questioning, why am I even trying? Why am I even attempting to win if visibly I cannot win? And, you know, that question, should it not be ignored, or, you know, should you not resist the pressure that it induces on the player? Well, he's just going to stop trying. And even if Arson Esports' chances at winning are pretty slim, looking at the current state of things, if they were to give up, they would just drop down to 0, which is, you know, worse than whatever they are currently. I do still like to see Arson trying new things, though, so they don't seem to be panicking, giving up, or, you know, tilting, to put it that way. Castle and Maverick, and Maestro, rather, are going to be making an appearance. So that still that still is an indicator that Arson, they're still trying to figure out something new, because obviously what can we change, because currently this is not working. We need to find something new. What can we try? Answer is going to be Castle, apparently, because hostile actions seem to have too easy of a time to just funnel into the building, and, you know, putting the Castle barricades and the proximity alert is going to make it so that you cannot just sneak up behind them. Donovic once again holding a new and different angle, and we have seen, I believe it is JD actually with the Zofia, you know, finding the initial insertion point in the building through stocks. It does not seem like he's going to go in through stocks this time, but it's still a very close or similar entry point. So by him having a predictable gameplay, would make it so that Donovic could cut him off pretty easily. He has seen, if he realizes this is a droning silhouette, he has the easiest kill ever. He's going to fire a few shots, make his position known, gets the first kill, does not get the second one. He is going to be inflicting heavy damage on Limbo, plus taking Hibana out before the hard breaching phase has been done is going to be a pretty big deal. Murafix is still up, and he can still breach that wall with minimal efforts. but you're not going to be able to breach the garage door as well. So this is going to be limiting your possibilities a little bit. Even though they're winning by a landslide, Mira and Hostile Actions, they're not going to just rush in. And that caution is going to prove fatal. Arson are now having the numerical advantage, which is a rare occurrence for this match so far. They have just lost Blue, which arguably is one of the best fraggers and plant denial operators. So his death is going to be a heavy blow. Donovic right here makes his position known. So he's likely to receive some pressure shortly. Limbo would be a perfect candidate for that. However, when they got the kill on your Doc, on your Maverick, on your Thermite, goddamn, I'll get that. I'll get it eventually. When they got the kill on Murphys, the attackers lost the diffuser. I don't believe Arson Esports were aware of that, because if not, I would have expected them to hold the angle a bit more aggressively than they did. But still, you know, it forced JD to rotate, and as such, this kind of shut down one angle or one flank to the attack that JD wanted to exploit. All in all, that was pretty good, but the impact nade is going to open up a nice wide line of sight, which Jimbo is just, or JD rather, is going to use to his advantage. And just like that, Hostile Actions have regained the upper hand once again. Diffuser is likely to get planted, so Donovic will be huge here, and Viscanio basically just has to play for time. Surviving 20 seconds with the amount of pressure he was receiving was unlikely, but he still had to try. Donovic will have to get back on side pretty quickly. There's somebody on the catwalk. He doesn't realize this. The flick shot will be attempted. Nothing will connect on either side, so far so good. His aim, oh, it's the pistol is actually going to get that, though he is really lit now. And the problem is you still have Montaigne up. Montaigne off, of course, can just deploy and be a huge nuisance, since Donovic has no PC utility that could be rid of Montaigne. Plus, Montaigne will just go for the kill, and that will work. Pats winning round number 5 for Hostile Actions. This is now becoming extremely desperate for Arson Esports. A 5-0 situation. What else can you do, or what's the last thing that you could hope for as an Orange Team supporter? I believe you could basically only think to yourself, okay, the role swap now has to save us. We have to win all of our defensive rounds, or the offense actually. We have to win every single attack that we're gonna have to make, because that's the only possible saving grace that they still have at their disposal. Should that fail, they would be done for. So, for the very last defense, before the rule swap, what are they going to be attempting, or how are they going to try to innovate? Because once again, if you do the same thing that you've been doing for 5 rounds by now, you are just going to lose yet another round. And I would not exactly have expected that, but, and let's just wait for the replays to be finished, we are going to be seeing a bedroom and gym defense. That is going to be quite interesting, because you would typically you'd consider that bomb site to be somewhat weaker than the other ones, right? So, if you're already not really winning your rounds, why would you go on the weaker bomb site? Answer is surprise, disinformation, and a bluff, basically. Hostile Actions were likely not expecting that, and that kind of advantage of surprise is going to make it so that the attackers won't have a composition that is tailor-made or, you know, hand-picked for this bomb site. And it looks like Arson, they are going to be reacting or acting accordingly, right? With Viz playing the Clash to block off the drone hole. That is going to be quite interesting. Because I thought to myself, well, they need to play for time. The last round went into the 20 few last seconds before the diffuser was actually planted. So, you know, a Clash could have made the difference due to the timer. That was a possibility. And I believe it is one of the reasons as to why they want to play Clash. But ultimately, it looks like, you know, the idea is to block, say, a grenade that would be rolled in to protect the bandits' batteries right here. That is going to be quite interesting. And of course, right, there's still no Twitch, there's still no Maverick, there's still no Thatcher. Either the operators have been flat out banned or simply not picked for this composition. Once again, the attackers didn't know they were going to push that bomb site. But Zofia, which would have been your, you know, utility, say, destroyer by choice, or your prime utility destroyer, can no longer simply just breach the ceiling and destroy the batteries, since the floor at this location of the map is non-destructible. You are going to be seeing Sledge breach this right here, which is going to put massive pressure on Y Killer. He now has a few different angles to look at the same time. Luckily for him, Blue can hold a cross angle, but that cross angle is going to be extremely narrow. Plus, Thermite opening up this reinforced wall. Y-Killer at this point is dead. That is setting the obvious. The only question is, can he get 1 or 2 kills before he dies? He gets the first one. We'll be pushing it in aggressively. Capital, second kill. That is looking pretty good. Limbo seems to have been receiving pressure from somebody else. Blue is not the one that's been pushing in. A Nitro Cell will not do too much. Oh, it's Donovic, right? Yeah, Donovic is right here. Things seem to be looking really well. That grenade is not going to get a kill, and he is going to be done for. White Killer still is unaccounted for. He seems to have been hesitating and have been caught off mid-rotation. Unfortunately, that's going to be a swift double kill. With Limbo getting now a kill on Blue, leaving us with a 2v3 situation. That boy, though, still has all of his health. Unfortunately for him, however, the MP45 would be considered one of the weakest guns in the game. So that is not looking too good for him, even though he is still at 100% of health. The bad news is, Biz right here is extremely lit. Luckily for him, the nade is not going to get anything down. But at this point, you know, Limbo just thinks to himself, let's not expose ourselves to Vizcanio and just get on bomb site, try to get the thing planted. And that would be an easy round 1 for them. That boy's position, even though it doesn't seem to be exactly known. Oh, he is going to be getting a nice kill here, which is likely to make... Oh my gosh, a double kill. Mera is going to get a double kill of his own, leaving them in a 1v1 situation, and Hostile Actions are going to win round number 6. Yeah, Mera just got the kill on Clash there. Oh my, wow. Nice free fire. They should not... Clash should have kept her shield behind, in front of her. That would have been... That might have made the difference between a round 1 and a round lost. So, as it stands, this is going to be the role swap. This is going to be a 6-0 situation. And this is going to be a pretty nice game for Hostile Actions. I feel like Clash has played it a bit too aggressive because it was they were in a 1v2 situation. So at this point, you have to simply say, Arson Esports, they're having a difficult time winning their firefights, right? So they absolutely do need to find a tactical advantage before they engage, because if not, their demise seems to be next to a shirt. Unfortunately, there's, for example, right here, that boy had the advantage. He was spotted, goes for the rotation. That's the right thing to do. Unfortunately, Clash didn't play, you know, made a tactical mistake, and that allowed Mera to get a double kill, leaving us with possibly, and at this point quite likely, the last round before the end of the game. Once again, Hostile Actions leading 6-0. That, in and of itself, is huge. Second of all, they have won 3 flawless rounds in the game. They have won 3 rounds, 3 offensive rounds, without losing a single player. That is something. Even as far as 7-0s go, you know, multiple flawless rounds in such a one-sided game is next to unheard of. And it looks like we're going to be having the SSG basement strat with, you know, a few twists here and there, because of course, you know, Devils with your Oryx, and I don't believe that Goyo would be prevalent in the SSG basement strat. Actually, Modzi would be there, and he's been banned, so they had to improvise, number 1, and number 2, of course, you know, they're bringing an operator that was not there when SSG made up this strat, so there you go. However, it looks like Arson Esports, they're not going to be surprised or, say, caught off guard by that. They know exactly how to do this. The jammer is going to make it so that Blue cannot destroy it, but that boy with the Twitch drone is going to get it down. It is quite unfortunate because Hostile Actions, they simply had to have a presence. Mera could have got the kill on the drone pretty easily. Never did. So Thermite is going to have no difficulties whatsoever to open this up. By the way, the Real Hunter and Meteor. Hey guys, how are you doing? Sorry for not acknowledging your comments earlier. This, you know, is a casted game, so I have to have a stream delay baked into the stream to make sure that the players are not stream sniping and gaining an unfair advantage by doing so. So there you go. Hi guys, just saying hello, so I cannot really answer more than just that. So welcome to the stream. How you doing? Who are you rooting for? And how did you find the game so far? So Arson Esports, this time they're attacking, and this is why we can of course see big differences in the play styles, both on offense and on defense. One thing that I can say for sure is that... Oh, Marathon first kill here. One thing I can say for sure is that Hostiles, they are not shy at all about being way more aggressive with their map control, right? The roamers basically trying to hold next to as much as the map as possible. It is going to have both an advantage and a pretty significant disadvantage. The problem... Oh, that flank could be interesting, but no, he's not going to see anybody by peeking. Problem is, by having so many roamers up top, they are leaving the bomb site pretty exposed. They got a first kill on Mera, another 1 or 2 kills, and bomb sites could be open and primed to receive a diffuser, right? So that is going to be the Achilles heel of that setup. Limbo right here with a long angle. Unfortunately, you know, that gun does not have the best range ever. He still gets the kill, leaving us in a 2v3 situation. All things considered, this is pretty close as far as this game is concerned. However, this is not going to be enough. Vizcanio now finding himself in a 1v3 situation. This looks like the GG's is bound to happen. Is he going to get the ace? Is he going to get the clutch? The thing is, he has 15 seconds to do so. Will get peeked. He is going to get the one player down. He does not realize this, however. Oh no, he's pushing in. There you go. It was a useless kill. Unfortunately, he's going to be wasting too much time, and that is going to be it. Devils saying GG's. Arson Esports are going to lose to a flawless game. This has to be heartbreaking if you're Arson Esports. They have now 4 losses under their belts. They are, you know, at the bottom of the leaderboard by a certain margin. So their chances of their comeback are getting slimmer and slimmer by the defeat, because it makes their, you know, hypothetical comeback ever harder and longer to be possible to achieve. So at this point, they are going to be in a tough situation, to say the least. I fully expect them to try extra hard for their upcoming games next week. But until then, all I can say is GG's. I would suggest you take a look at the VOD to figure out what you did wrong and learn from your mistakes by doing so. And from then on, you could probably learn a thing or two and improve upon yourselves in the hopes of winning rounds or winning games for in your upcoming matches. But until then, once again, huge game for Hostile Actions. By the way, now would be just about the right time to jump into an interview with them. So let's contact the players. Let me just do that real quick. And we've had a few events in Natalia logging. Yeah, let me just get... let me just DM the team leader. Also, let me just move that game to the finished matches and enter the scores into Battlefy. So, which game was that? I should have posted a link right here. It's like I knew it would be useful to find the game on Battlefy pretty quickly in the future. So, let's report the scores. 1-0. The exact rounds being change score. The exact rounds being 1-0. Report score for game number 1 being 7-0. Once again, huge victory for Arson Esports. For Hostile Actions, goddammit. Okay, so if I was to take a look at the standings now, Hostiles, by having won this, are now once again tied with Unique Esports. So both of these teams have 3 victories and no losses to their name. So of course, right, Unique had played the game before, and thus they had the lead. But then Hostile Actions just played, you know, their 3rd game, and they just regained the same setting or standing as Unique. So they are currently tied for 2nd place. And OnlyFans technically also has 3 victories. I had made a mistake when I tried